Welcome to the Torchlight Network. This is Dave Horwedel. The Torchlight Network is doing a series of interviews on business leaders to find out what their successful actions are and how they are coping with COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing government regulations and carrying on and servicing their clients. Today we have Julz Allender. Julz is a financial advisor. And so Julz, how is it going for you in COVID-19?
Well, Dave, it's definitely some challenging times for sure, but we've been able to, in terms of business, is move our business from in-person and be able to do a lot of business online through Zoom appointments, which has helped us tremendously in keeping clientele and getting new clientele, especially during these financial times for people where there's many hardships and people are looking and searching for answers. And so we've been able to really provide them with true information and educational information that's really been able to help them through these times. So as tough as it is on the outside world with COVID right now, we've been able to really push through and push forward and keep on going.
So what success that you had with, helping people who are suffering, extreme financial distress or whatever they're going through in COVID? How do you guys handle that?
Yeah, so the first thing we do is we really take the time to do a lot of educational information and giving them true data and facts on how money works, how money grows, the different types of accounts that are out there for people in terms of where they can put their money in relationship to where their money is, and then how money gets taxed. And these are things that, from my experience going through it myself and then talking to many people about it, that a lot of people just don't know this data. They don't know this information. And so they get lost in it and they take they'll take one person's advice or a company's advice that they work for in terms of this is what you should do with your money, or your money's in a safe place, or you'll be set for life. And so we really take the time, and our first financial analysis appointment is completely free to, again, educate them and go through their situation and their financial needs and what their financial goal is, and be able to give them comparable information and data so that they can look at and think with that information and make the best decision for themselves in their future.
That's very good. Now, as a tax professional, I run across people who have they have this wonderful thing. They think that they can deduct $5,500 or $6,500 from if they're older, but they can deduct this money as they can put it into an IRA and they quote unquote save taxes on it. And it's true, they don't pay taxes on it when they put it in the IRA, but for a lot of people, it's a much better deal to get a Roth IRA, where in a Roth IRA, you put it in after taxes, but then all the gross of the fund and the money when you take it out, it's already been taxed so that you're not paying taxes when you're age 65 drawing it out. And that can be very tricky to calculate because some people figure, well, when I'm 65, I'm going to be making less money. My taxes are lower. And that may be true, but I'm not sure if in this current environment, whether taxes are going to go up or down. As we know, we have a lot of, shall we say, instability perhaps in the United States. And we have the, some people may wonder how much money we can borrow from China before they foreclose or something. So I was just going to check with you to see, what products you have to help out people in those sort of situations.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. And one being how accounts or how money is taxed. And there's 3 different ways money is taxed. And this is, money can be taxed now. So you have your savings account, your checking account, or whatever, you're going to pay a yearly tax on that money. Then you have your money tax later accounts or tax deferred accounts. So these would be like 401ks or what you alluded to, right? I have a tax write-off that I'm paying into my account every month. And then in the future, when I'm 65 or 59 and a half, and I start taking that money out, I will pay federal and state taxes on that money. And I think it's pretty safe to say at this point in time that our taxes aren't getting any less, that taxes are going to be higher, if not much higher in the future. And you also have to think with inflation, right? So what $500 is today is not going to be what $500 is in 15, 20, 25 years. And so what we have, what we have are tax advantage accounts. And so these are accounts that are set up where you're paying into the account similar to a 401k, but you're paying with post-tax money. So your money's already been taxed. And so your money grows tax-free. And when you withdraw it, it is also tax-free because you've already paid taxes on this money. And the other good things about these types of accounts that we offer is that they're growing on compounding interest, right? So my money's going to grow on top of growth, on top of growth, on top of growth. And it accumulates very quickly. And then the third thing is what we call an indexed account. So these types of accounts are where your money grows with the market. So your money's not directly into the stock market, but when the market goes up, your money goes up to a certain extent, like so let's say 6-7%, or some caps are 15%. And when the market drops, you never lose. Your money gets locked in at that amount, and your money is safe where it's earned. And when that market goes back up, your money grows. And so we see where the wealthy have had access or knowledge about these accounts and dump hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into these accounts. And so they're able to really grow their money on a large scale. And so again, we inform our clients on all these different types of accounts and all these different types of services that we offer. And so that, again, depending on their situation, when they want to retire, how much they want to have when they're retiring, we can come up with numbers and accounts and services that are going to benefit them.
That's very interesting. There's actually, I have to laugh because in taxes, there's a similar thing in that, people think that the rich have all these tax advantages. The rich have no tax advantages except they have better accountants. I had an Uber driver. He got a net operating loss, just like Donald Trump did. That's how Donald Trump avoided all those taxes for all those years. So it's a matter of just learning and knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then having datums to compare off of one another, right? Someone can say, well, this is a great account for you, but compared to what? And so people can get into these cookie cutter types of accounts or services that they just hand to people rather than, again, taking the time for each client. And so when someone's sitting with a financial advisor, it's very important that they're with someone who offers many services from many different companies. And so, again, they can really fit to that client and that person.
Very good. Now, do you help people handle their budget so maybe they can afford to get the help they need?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take them through, again, their current situation or current scene with their finances. And, we call it financial planning. So what their monthly expenses are, what could they cut out if they need to cut out. A lot of times people just don't take the time to confront, look, and observe what's coming out of their checking or savings account every month, right? We're in the era of automatic withdrawal. Right? You sign up for something, you may have even forgot that you signed up for it. And every month it just comes out automatically, and it takes away that person's confront or just their ability to observe that. And so we take them through that, and we start having them, set aside some money where they can. And again, this really puts them in control over their finances, which then gives them the opportunity, to invest on larger scales. And again, the investments don't necessarily only have to be for retirement. You can go invest in annuities, right? So I can invest in $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. And again, you're getting that same growth and you're getting that same compounding interest. And so in 7 years and in 10 years, my money has grown a lot and I haven't even put any more money into it. And so there's a lot of options that people just aren't aware of.
That's very true. And I have to laugh. I think you're probably familiar with Dave Ramsey, the financial guru or whatever. And in one of his things, he was talking about how the average car payment is $459. And if a person was able to avoid like if they were able to avoid that car payment somehow at the age of 20, and they invested $459 a month, it was like at age 65, they have $5 million at, I forget what the rate of interest was, but it wasn't something extremely, rigid. And so it's definitely an advantage if people can actually see where they're spending their money and make sure they put it somewhere that it will grow rather than just be burned away and, borrowing money at high interest rates and all this sort of stuff. It's a good thing to avoid.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people wait too long to start planning for retirement. Again, we've seen 401ks in the last 4 months. We've seen people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in a month. And I don't think we've seen the market bottom out yet. And that's just my opinion. But if someone can start looking ahead when they're 25, 30 years old and start, putting away little by little and then increasing that slowly, they're going to put themselves in a really good situation, not depending on 401ks. And again, we don't even know where Social Security is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years down the line as well. And so it's time for people to really start confronting and looking and getting information.
Yeah. Well, before I became a tax professional, many years ago, I graduated with a degree in mathematics and economics, and I passed the first two exams as an actuary. Those are the guys, a fully trained actuary is the one who has to sign up on a pension plan that is properly funded. And anybody who signed up on a plan like the United States Social Security system, that had a corporate plan like that, they'd go to jail.
Oh, wow.
It's not properly legally funded. A corporation can't do what the government was doing. And so they're not really fully funding the pension, but taking it out of current. It's, I'm not saying that Social Security is bad or something, but it's just, it's a little bit scary, from the mathematical viewpoint.
Absolutely.
Now, the other point I'm somewhat curious about is that I understand that before you became a financial advisor, you used to bounce this ball around and you were, you went to college, you played basketball and became a basketball coach. How did you happen to come from there to being a financial advisor? And are you still doing any of that stuff?
Yeah, so I was a college basketball coach for 13 years. I was a junior college head coach for 10 years. And I played Division I college basketball. And I got into coaching because I really enjoy helping people. And it was just always my purpose in life, is just doing what I could do to help another person succeed, to help them reach their goals, and just be happier and better individuals. And so when I got into this industry, I guess how it started is I met with a friend of mine who does this, and first thing she did was educate me on the things that I was talking about prior. How money works, how it grows, how it's taxed. Here's what you haven't been told. Here's probably what you haven't learned. And it was shocking to me that I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree. I have credit cards, I have debt, I've had student loans, I've made decent amount of money, that I didn't pay enough attention to know these things. And so what I realized was that if I don't know it, I'm sure there's many more people in society who don't know it and who could really take advantage and help their situation and not be burdened by debt, credit card debt, being handcuffed to a situation financially or a job that they didn't want to be in. And so it really fueled again my purpose to help. I can help people go achieve their goals, go achieve their financial goals, go be able to put their kids through college, go be able to buy a house, and get that freedom from debt, that's kind of controlling their life, and be able to do the things that they want to do, not necessarily just debt, but hey, this is how your money earns. This is where you can do these things. And so that's how I got into this industry, and I've really enjoyed it thus far. I've helped a lot of people. And to answer your other question, yes, I'm still involved with basketball. I have a YouTube channel under Courtside with Julz. I have about 38,000 subscribers. I've put a lot of training videos, a lot of how-to videos that a lot of people have found very useful. I also have a website, Courtside with Julz, where I offer some training, some coaching resources, a podcast. And again, I'm just really trying to educate and help, with that, young athletes achieve their goals, achieve their dreams, be able to be competent in what they're doing. And most recently, I'm putting together a recruiting services website for basketball players where I'll work with 10 to 15 a year personally and take them through the recruiting process and work with them on their skill development. And, having the perspective of playing and coaching at the college level, I can give them an honest and real and workable advice for what where their game is at and where they want to go with it. And then I also have hundreds of connections at the 4-year level where coaches trust me and are asking me about players and who they should be looking at and telling me this is what they need, who do I know. Again, I'm just trying to use my resources and use my knowledge to help people. I'm looking forward to expanding on both of these walks of life at the same time.
Well, that sounds very good. And I just want to put in a little plug there that you don't even know anything about what I'm about to say. But my nephew, Danny, at the age of 14, loved playing soccer. And my brother, Jim, saw him kicking a soccer ball through the goalpost from 40 yards out. And he asked some friends if a soccer ball was easier to kick than a football. And they said, no, it's harder to kick through the goalpost. So he got Danny to go out go out for the football team in high school as a kicker. And he did very well. He got a 46-yard field goal, when he was in high school. And this was, some years ago. And then there was an NFL kicker who lived in Tennessee around that area. And he came by and he mentored Danny, helped him out and stuff. Some great stories there that I'm going to avoid because they'd take too long. But Danny was applying for scholarships and he hadn't gotten one yet. And so this NFL mentor called up his school, which was Louisiana something. I don't remember the right name. And he said, Dave Horwedel is good, and that's where he went. So they, okay, we'll take him for a tryout. He went there for a tryout. And that's how he got, a 4-year ride to college. And also he made a deal with my brother before he got the full ride. He said, hey, what do I get if I get a full ride? So that's how Daddy came to have the best car in his family. But it all worked out. But yeah, it's amazing when you consider he might not have gotten that scholarship and that 4-year ride, except he happened to know this guy who used to kill a great football player who happened to be at that school was his mentor. So I'm sure that's very valuable that you can help some people out there as well.
Yeah, that's a great story. And yeah, it's having the right people advocating for you and, being in your corner, I guess you can call it, that goes a long way. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing with that as well.
Good. And you're excellent. Yeah, I think you're going to do very well on both those things. Anyway, is there anything else you would like to say to our viewers before we end off?
Just to reiterate the point that, we have a free financial analysis that we do. It doesn't cost anything. And I think it's very vital to a family and individual's prosperity and their ability to do what they want in life and have that freedom financially to do those things. And so, many people don't sit with financial advisors, and once they do, they wish they would have. We hear that so often. And so again, just taking that time, it's not it's about a 30-45-minute phone call, Zoom meeting, and just getting educated. And if you're in a situation that is right for you and that's the best situation for you, I will tell you that. And it's not a sales pitch. I'm not going to push anything on you. It's just getting you in a situation where you can be most successful.
Well, very good. Thank you very much, Julz.
Thank you, Dave.